was some good, bad and ugly in amongst it, but less of the ugly and less of the bad. There's a bit more good this week, so pleased about that. But yeah, there's still some areas that we definitely need to work on, but it's nice to score some points again. It's probably not been flowing for us, but there was some really top class attack at times and some real good shots on the back of some couple of really outstanding pieces of play. A couple of 40-20s in a game, you can often go weeks and weeks without seeing 40-20s, and we had a couple in the one game. So he's our motor. He's here all the time, this bloke, isn't he? He just knows when I start. He knows somebody hires him. But yeah, there was patches there. Some of it, some lapses in defence, and some of our defence, which has been our strong point. I think we've had the number one defence all year and number one attack. Some of our defence today wasn't up to where you'd think a number one team in defence would be. So yeah, we'll keep working on those sort of things. But it's certainly not doom and gloom about it. Overall, I think the scoreline reflects pretty well. I thought there was some outstanding last-ditch efforts. The stop tries as well with Brad Dwyer's effort and some of those sort of things that showed some desperation. In terms of players, I thought Joe Westerman was fantastic today. He backed it up. He was pretty good last week for us. Last week he was one of our leading performers, but this week he really stood out, I thought, and along with Ryan Atkins, and Ryan Atkins is back to some of his best. He's having a good season, a real good season, Ryan. He's had to rebuild himself probably from the last year, and he's really done that well, so he's having a fantastic season. But Ashton Sims, I thought, made a real big difference too, coming back into the squad, so good to see a couple of those fresh bodies come in and make a difference. Yeah, we're there and thereabouts, aren't we? We're as good a chance as anybody. I thought, and I said it publicly last week, I thought Wigan stepped it up last week. I don't think anybody else has been really on fire lately. Hull have put a good period together, but they've probably flattened off a little bit in terms of performance, not just results, but performance. I thought Wigan stepped it up against Catalans. It's time to step it up. Those teams who want to go on for the rest of the season, to give themselves a chance, will step up now. I thought we took some steps that way. We've still got a bit to go, but it's open for the top teams. I think whoever really wants to grab it will grab it from here on in. Up around this sort of time, in number of games, a lot of Aussie teams would be finishing and will be finishing, and we start our big stuff now. So we've got to take that into account about how we prepare our players and how we look after them, and and how we treat our international players as well. So yeah, they're long seasons, and that needs to be taken into account. And, it's hard for them to go and for all our teams to. I've said it last week. I think there's some players who have been carrying knocks since Easter, and because you lose a few players, are long-termers, those players have got to keep playing with injury, so all your performances drop. And I think there's been a lot of teams in that case where they can't train much but have to play. Can't train much but have to play. And that's what we're getting to, and that's probably why you don't get some of the more spectacular games, intensity-wise.